Okay, let's start things off. Chad and Trevor. Trevor, it's great to have you back. Thank you so much for going like the last 30 days so far. But this whole thing for us, we're just loving Klipsch right now, right? We put up killer displays in our stores. There's speakers to look and touch and feel. I just have to point out, the poster in the back of Chad right there. That is just great. I think that we have a very unfiltered viewpoint about our sound and what we like, why we like it. That's kind of like where we stand, especially with Klipsch. I love Klipsch. I use it in my recording studio. You guys gave me a couple of speakers, by the way, and I've been using them ever since. So whether I'm near field monitoring, it's all to the the end user's discretion in a sense. So I would be an end user in that case. But for partners installing this, it's we understand flavors. We talk about flavors, and that's precisely what I'd like to even be available to you if you haven't used this brand before. Can't understand why not. But and also my affinity with F1 stuff, and you guys have been promoting F1, which I love, and I've got these great pair of headphones. Oh my God, you guys should see this. Like, hey, I don't know if you guys seen this.
I like those.
Okay, awesome. So this is a really cool piece. My kids were like, "I've got to have that, Dad." I was like, "No way!" Carbon fiber wrap. I mean, this is cool. Just kind of the level of degree of coolness that you guys have to the picture. Anyway, I'm recording this session, so Damien and Elton, let's kick this off. You've got two of the best right here. I'm going to record this and get a nice video together for you guys that I will email out a little bit later for reference and so forth. Guys, I cannot thank you enough. We're going to do 2 sessions today, so I'll continue to promote in the meantime. And from all of us at Snap One Partner Stores, glad to be working with you guys. Trevor, thank you so much. Who do I turn it to? Trevor, Chad first. Here you go.
Cool. Yeah. Chad, you want to take us away on this?
Yeah, I'll start us off, and then Trevor's going to jump in and talk about some distributed audio and such. But yeah, I will jump in right here. Let me share my screen, and I will be sure to share my sound. All right. Very cool. Okay. So, hello, everyone. First of all, I want to thank everybody for joining us today for the training session. Today, we're mainly going to be looking at our custom installation lines, series like our architectural speakers, as well as our outdoor landscape and some of our commercial and distributed audio solutions. At the very end of this presentation, we're going to hold a Q&A for everyone as well. So if you have any questions at all, please feel free to ask them during the Q&A portion. Or you can pop them into the Zoom chat at any time if you like throughout the presentation as well. We'll get to them at the end. So first off, what we want to do is go over a quick background of Klipsch. Gary was mentioning the sign that I had behind me and stuff. And, this is kind of a good lead into Paul Klipsch himself. So he was an absolute maverick and a verifiable genius that happened to also be a music lover. Paul had 22 patents over the course of his life and was inducted into the Science and Engineering Hall of Fame. It's safe to say that no matter what Paul Klipsch would have chosen to dedicate his life to, he would have greatly excelled in that industry. I think we're all just very fortunate that he chose music as his passion, and recreating the live experience through loudspeakers was his mission. Klipsch was founded in 1946 in Hope, Arkansas. We still manufacture all of our heritage speakers, models like the Klipsch horn, the Cornwall, the Forte, Heresy, and so on. To this day at our manufacturing facility in Hope, Arkansas, these speakers especially really hone in on what Paul Klipsch was trying to achieve. His biggest hallmarks were that he was trying to recreate the power, detail, and emotion that comes with a live music experience. He wanted that same feeling in his home environment. We are a market leader in commercial cinema. 1 and 2 cinemas in the U.S. are powered by Klipsch, while globally we power 1 and 4 commercial cinemas. We have active partnership products with Dolby Atmos, THX, and IMAX. And now what I'd like to do is go into the real meat of our history, our acoustic technology. So our main key design element is that we use horns on our high frequency drivers. These horns are our proprietary Tratrix geometric form for the best transfer of waves from the speaker to the listener. This makes the soundstage much more focused and the content more dynamic, which in turn also makes the speaker itself more efficient and more sensitive with overall less distortion. These are all extremely big hallmarks for the acoustic technology and the acoustic principles of of Klipsch. So, and that actually leads me right into my next slide, which we're going to highlight our 4 main principles when developing a Klipsch speaker: controlled directivity, high efficiency and low distortion, wide dynamic range, and finally a flat frequency response. These 4 principles still carry to this day, whether we're developing passive or active product. When it comes to controlled directivity, this is our horn-loaded high frequencies, ensuring that the detail, clarity, and dynamics are pointed directly at the listener, providing the best possible sound stage to what the listener is enjoying. The inverse relationship between high efficiency and low distortion is also extremely important. The horn maximizes the efficiency of the high frequency driver, which allows for more acoustic output with less power that is actually needed to drive the speaker. So again, once you're, if you need less power for a more sensitive speaker, essentially you're inherently making the speaker have less distortion. The dynamic range is also a huge area where horn-loaded high frequencies result in the clearest intelligibility, from the dialogue in your movies to the vocals and the finer details of your music. And finally, the last major principle is the flat frequency response. This design principle ensures that no particular frequency bands or areas are amplified or emphasized. A flat frequency response means that you are essentially listening to your content as closely as the creator intended. So now that we've got our history and design principles laid out, let's get right into some product. First off, we're going to be taking a look at our architectural speakers. All of these speakers that I'm going to show you from this point forward are a part of our custom install category. These are exclusive products, not available in any online storefront, and these are not available via mass retail. The reason for this is this allows us to put the installer first for fast, easy, and reliable installation from a trustworthy branded solution. When it comes to custom install products, we are truly a one-stop shop for almost every solution. So when it comes to these installation methods on some of these speakers, we've got 2 extremely reliable and easy solutions. The secure fit for our in-wall speakers on the left is an easy 2-piece installation, the speaker and the wall mount enclosure. These are extremely reliable wall mounts that provide a better sound for in-wall offerings due to the seal that can be created with the secure fit mount. This also ensures that there is no rattle even when you are installing speakers with a robust 8-inch driver in them. Next, for our in-ceiling offerings, we have the Skyhook cinch provided by our partners at Swarm. This is a completely tool-free in-ceiling mount that is 75% faster than other standard architectural installation methods. This is also a patented system, so it's a very unique and special feature to offer your customers. So what I'd actually like to do now is show you a very quick video that shows you the details of the installation using the Skyhook cinch method. We can talk about it and everything, but it's really easy to see it working in action through this next video. So I'll go ahead and play that now. And it says cannot play media. Wonderful. Okay. No worries at all. So basically, we'll just move on to the next slide here, unless I am completely frozen up. Okay. No, that's fine. So essentially, when it comes to the Skyhook cinch method, so you have your in-ceiling speaker. You would cut a hole into the ceiling where you're installing it. And past that, honestly, the Skyhook cinch method, what's so great about it is that, usually when you're installing an in-ceiling speaker, you're sitting there on a ladder and you're holding this, heavy speaker up, and then you might have some tools where you're sitting there trying to crank down Phillips head screwdrivers, so you can get the dog leg to clamp down onto the drywall and clamp onto it. With the Skyhook cinch method, what happens is you really just cut out the hole in the ceiling, pop the speaker into place, and then you've got 2 sets of buttons that you press. And then once you press these buttons, the dog legs clamp right down. So it's a completely tool-free method that really anybody can do. I mean, we even had, I think it was at CEDIA in 2018 or 2019, where we actually had a skyhook cinch installation. It was kind of a challenge to where you basically had to install the in-ceiling speaker into a piece of drywall within, I think it was like within 60 seconds or something like that. And out of 500 people achieved that challenge and succeeded in installing the speaker in less than 60 seconds. So it's an ultra fast solution. Again, I apologize that the video wasn't working, but like I said, it's a great solution. You just pop it in, press the buttons, the dog legs clamp down, and then you're off on your way. So the current, now looking at the slide here, the current skyhook cinch installations now have an additional 3 millimeters of clamp travel. So if you have a textured ceiling, uneven drywall, etc., the additional clamp room allows for much more versatility. One of the biggest things to keep in mind with this install is that the quick and easy pop into place system, again, it prevents the installer or the customer having to stand there on a ladder with a big heavy in-ceiling speaker raised above their head while they install the speaker. Now they just cut out the hole, pop it into place, and then you're done. All right, so now we're actually getting into some real product here. So as we move through the product slides, I'll be starting off with our most premium offerings, and then we'll continue to show more budget-friendly options as we progress through the slides. Now here we're looking at an array of our professional reference Premier series. These all feature titanium dome tweeters and cerametallic woofers, just like all of our passive home theater loudspeakers on the reference Premier line. The titanium tweeter features neodymium magnets for effortless playback and power handling, while the titanium material itself minimizes distortion, allows for detailed, clear, high frequencies. As for the cerametallic woofer, this is a proprietary cone material that is extremely light for maximum efficiency. In addition, it's an exceptionally rigid material that maintains its shape for less low frequency distortion. So starting off, our Pro 160 RPW features a 6.5-inch woofer, while the 180 features a nice, robust 8-inch woofer. The Pro 250 RPW LCR makes for not only a good in-wall center channel, but also some customers choose this speaker for their entire front LCR. So it is a very versatile speaker, depending on what form factor you might be looking for inside for the in-wall applications. So like I said, it's a great speaker. You use that as center channel, left, center, right, whatever you need to do for that particular application. As we get into the in-ceiling models within the Professional Reference Premier series, we have our Pro 160 RPC featuring a 6.5-inch woofer, and the 180 RPC boasting an 8-inch woofer. The Pro 180 RPC is a very cool solution for a customer that may want to have an in-ceiling LCR, but you don't necessarily want an in-ceiling front LCR that with the sound being shot straight down 8 to 12 feet in front of you, or wherever it may be. The 180 RPC LCR features angled tweeters and woofers so that the sound is emitting much closer to the actual listener. It's not just pointing it, directing it directly down at the floor. It is actually pointing towards your sound stage, which can give you a great experience for an in-wall speaker, or excuse me, in-ceiling speakers for if you're doing a front LCR. Now, one thing that you may have noticed that the majority of these models notate a fixed tweeter and woofer, and that is because as we get into our standard reference professional series, you'll see that many of these models now offer pivotable tweeters. This can really help hone in the soundstage and pinpoint the listening position. For a front left and right in wall, the pivoting tweeter really almost kind of mimics a pair of toed-in floor standing or bookshelf speakers. So as we move into this reference line, we're starting to get a little more budget friendly. All of these models, besides the subwoofer, feature IMG woofers with aluminum dome tweeters. You may have noticed by now that if the model name includes a 6 in it, then the speaker likely features a 6.5-inch woofer. If the model has an 8 in it, then the speaker will feature an 8-inch woofer. For the 4-inch models, or excuse me, for the 4 models down here at the bottom, we're going to be featuring 3.5-inch IMG woofers. All in-wall models support the secure fit installation method, and all in-ceiling models feature the skyhook cinch method that we discussed previously in the previous slides. And finally, we also have a subwoofer offering in this category, which is the Pro 800 SW. This is a DBC in-ceiling bandpass sub that features an 8-inch Sarah metallic woofer and a dual voice coil. The small aperture opening allows for a small footprint system when it comes to outward aesthetic to the listener, which that actually brings me right into our next topic, which is our minimal footprint systems. So when you utilize models like the Pro 14 RC and the Pro 800 SW, these are perfect for blending into a home that features in-ceiling down can lights. The small aperture grill diameters match the most common size for the down can lights. So as you can see in the photo here, the blue circles marks the instances of the Pro 14 RC, and the red circle showcases the subwoofer. All seamlessly blended into the customer's interior light aesthetic for a system that truly disappears when enjoying it. So we're not only getting really detailed high frequencies with the Pro 14 RC, but we're also getting some nice bass response as well with the Pro 800 SW in-ceiling subwoofer. So these next 2 series that I'm getting into now will be our most budget-friendly options. Starting off with our designer series here, we have in-ceiling and in-wall offerings featuring silk dome tweeters and polypropylene woofers. One thing that I want to call out for this series is the CDT technology on the DS160 CDT and the DS180 CDT. CDT stands for Controlled Dispersion Technology, and this refers to the tweeter, again, being pivotable. The CDT series speakers offer a tweeter that with a pivoting angle of up to 45 degrees, perfect for pinpointing the exact listening position. So like I said, so, you know, when it comes to the in-wall offerings that we were talking about with the pivotable tweeters, you know, those can kind of mimic a pair of toed-in bookshelf or floor standing speakers. But those go left to right. But with the in-ceiling in-ceiling offerings that offer the CDT technology, I mean, you can point that tweeter wherever your listening position may be, for a really great experience. Within this series, we also have the CSM models as well. These models are able to output a full stereo signal from a single speaker due to them incorporating a dual voice coil and tweeter. In addition, we also have an LCR offering that a customer could use as their dedicated center, or they could use it for their full front LCR. Lastly, in our architectural speakers, we have the custom series. These are going to be our most budget-friendly option that feature polymer tweeters and woofers. Within the custom series, we have our 6.5-inch and 8-inch in-ceiling offerings, a dual voice coil CSM model, and finally an in-wall 6.5-inch speaker. So just to kind of reiterate the tiers, so to speak, of our professional architectural speakers, here we have a nice layout of a good, better, and best, showcasing our products that we have available for a customer seeking really almost any price point. One thing that I did not mention previously on the product slides is that the Reference Premier Professional and the Reference Professional series both include squared and round grills. So depending on the aesthetic that the customer may prefer, we have 2 grill styles included with those models. All right, so now we're going to jump into architectural subwoofers real quick. Starting off, we have the Pro 800 SW. This is the subwoofer that we went over in the previous slide for the minimal footprint system. This one includes a rounded or square grill. Next up, we really start to beef up the subwoofer line with the Pro 1000 SW. This model features a 10-inch cerometallic woofer in an MDF cabinet enclosure. And finally, we have the Pro 1200 SW. This is our 12-inch architectural submodel. This one also features a cerometallic woofer and boasts an MDF full stud space enclosure to give the sub the most air and space so that it can really dig down and still be essentially invisible due to its in-wall nature. So now we will jump right into outdoor products. We're going to be going over two different categories within this section. We'll be going over our landscape and our under eaves speakers. When it comes to our landscape speakers, we are the only brand on market to provide horn-loaded speakers. These horn-loaded landscape speakers bring classic Klipsch to an all-new form factor. We've got a lot of experience in 70-volt arrays and outdoor products in both commercial and residential applications. So we have our actual landscape models. The Pro 500T LS and the Pro 650T LS. Starting off with the 500T LS, we've got a 5-inch IMG woofer and a 1-inch aluminum dome tweeter. The 650 then beefs it up to a 6.5-inch IMG woofer with the 1-inch aluminum dome tweeter. Please note that these speakers feature a multi-tap switch on the back of them so that they are ready for any 30, 50 watt application, 70-volt array, or even standard 8-ohm load, depending on the needs of the customer. So let's actually take a quick glance at those tap settings and their location on the speaker itself. So here we're looking at a rear view of one of our landscape speakers, featuring the tap settings. Here you can see the tap switch is completely tool-free, and it's also sealed under a watertight silicone cover so that the speaker remains outdoor ready for every component. So it's like even, and I say tool-free because it's, you can just grab the tap switch and then move it around where you need. You don't have to get a flathead screwdriver and get it all in there and have to use that. So it's a really great system. And like I said, it's got a silicone cover on the back, so everything is still watertight and weatherproof, ready to go for outdoor applications. Now let's take a look at our in-ground outdoor subwoofers. We have two offerings in this category: the 10-inch Pro 10 SW LS and the 12-inch Pro 12 SW LS. The smaller of the two, the 10 SW LS, features a larger chimney cap than that of the 12 SW LS. This, combined with no horizontal tubing, provides a smaller burial hole and overall an easier installation process. The 10 SW LS can reach down to 33 hertz with a max SPL output of 105 decibels. The 12 SW LS is going to get you down to 25 hertz with a max SPL output of 109 decibels. So the 10 SW may be smaller and easier to install, but if you do want those extra low frequencies and output, then the 12 SW LS is for you. The 12 SW LS features horizontal tube porting. However, we did include handles on either end for easier installation and unboxing. In conjunction with the larger woofer size, the horizontal tubing is what allows the 12 SW LS to have a wider frequency range that digs deeper and has more output than that of the 10 SW LS. And now we're going to look at our under eave offerings. The AW series has been around for quite a while now, and they've essentially reached the tried and true standard at this point. The AW stands for all weather, so these products you see here are all completely fit for year-round weather. These models are fitted into an ABS sealed cabinet that is not only UV resistant, but it's also paintable so that the customer can match it directly with their outdoor decor. The 650 features a 6.5-inch woofer, while the 525 features a 5.25-inch woofer. The 400 featuring a 4-inch woofer. And now you'll notice that we also have the AW500 SM. This is another one of our dual voice coil offerings that can output a full stereo signal out of the one singular speaker. This 500 SM features a 5 1/4 inch woofer. And now I'm actually going to hand it over to my friend Trevor Gibson. He's going to take you through our compact series as well as our distributed audio solutions.
Thank you, Chad. I appreciate it. So many of the things that Chad talked about, I'll be building on here and also discussing a transformer included version of some of the speakers you've already seen. But let's just jump right into the distributed audio side of it. So one thing I wanted to talk about was oftentimes in the partner stores, you'll get integrators that do a lot of residential, but they may do a fair amount of light commercial, whether that vertical may be hospitality, maybe they're doing some corporate work and putting some conference rooms in, higher ed, regardless of whatever it is, we have solutions that work really well in those areas. Sometimes music is important, right? So I always like to say in the commercial audio business, there's really only a few reasons why somebody would want to have sound in their place of business. And it's pretty simple. Get people to buy more stuff. They stay longer, they purchase more, you get them to eat more food, maybe stick around and get that dessert, you get them to drink more booze, which can make the check higher and make more money, get them to be more efficient from an office standpoint where it's a better working environment. And the last one really is just to get people usually to gamble more. We do a lot of casinos and get people to stick around in the environment. So there's a reason why commercial audio is here. I like to say, on the other side of our business, we sell the toys, we sell the tools on our side. So these are the ones that we sell that really have a reason other than the emotional connection with the music to be present. So with that in mind, when it comes to our professional distributed products, all of our products, we're horn loaded. The technology is the same. We have a Tractrix horn equation that Chad spoke to earlier. We also implement this little concave bumps that are on the horn itself there. We call them mumps. It could quite possibly be one of the worst marketing names ever. I think it probably is. I asked Roy Delgado, who is our resident speaker guy, he calls himself, was tuberculosis too wordy? I don't know. Maybe it was. I don't know. But anyway, but the fact of the matter is they work and they're there for a reason. And Roy has a patent on it. And what it does in the most truest sense of the word is it keeps the lower frequencies that are represented by that horn, that are replicated by that horn, on the horn longer and has them exit more gracefully. So that means you get a wider dispersion with more energy on the source and the things that are important in a professional world. So we don't use any soft dome tweeters. All of them are real compression drivers. They're all 1-inch titanium drivers. Why is that important? Well, it's important for several reasons. Number one, when it comes to music, certainly vocals can be important. That's how people sometimes emotionally connect with music. So being able to hear those in a hospitality environment is important in the commercial world. But where it really hits home is when you're talking about articulation and sibilance, those things that are certainly important when you're in a conference room and somebody's on their phone and they're calling in on a Zoom meeting or whatever it may be. Being able to hear and hear effectively and have it cut through, that's where our horn technology and our driver technology really shines. And we do that delivering full bandwidth without DSP. Now, I should have an asterisk there because really when it comes to DSP, if you have a room that's very reverberant and has resonant frequencies, DSP can help get rid of some of those resonant frequencies and try to be better in the environment. but most environments are pretty good. So with that in mind, we don't need a processor to make our speakers sound good. We don't have an EQ curve when we demo our speakers. You just plug them up, you play them, you listen to them. If you want to cut a little bit or boost a little bit, that's fine, but that's really where we come from regarding that. So on the in-ceiling side of our professional line, we have 3 core speakers. We have other ones as well, but these are the ones we're really going to concentrate on. IC 400T, IC 525T, IC 650T. Like Chad was mentioning with the nomenclature on the Pro Reference and the Designer Series and Custom Series, it's very similar on our professional line. IC stands for in-ceiling. 525 stands for a 5 1/4 inch woofer size, and T stands for transformer. The only thing that's different is the IC 400T. It actually has a 5-inch woofer. Why we call it a 400 is beyond me. It was before I got here, but the fact of the matter is all the rest of them are set up with the actual woofer size being included in the name. All of them have an 8 ohm bypass. So these could be used in an 8 ohm application, but all of them have the 70 volt transformer with the variable taps, tapping from 3.75 watts up to 30 watts. All the taps on our end ceilings are on the front, and we do that on purpose. When an install happens, what normally happens is the integrator will tap them off where they kind of think that the level should be. And before they put the grill on, they'll listen to the system. Well, the nice part about having it on the front is you already have installed. If you need a little bit more oomph out of it, you can just take a little flathead screwdriver and make the change there very quickly before the grill is actually put on. All of them have UL 1480 and 2043. So that means they work in all the plenum spaces that they will install. Every place, those 2 certifications ensure to be able to install in airports and higher ed and K through 12 and all the different verticals. By the way, those come in white or black in either of those models. We also have a short can model as well. So if you are limited with space in the ceiling with HVAC up there or a sprinkler system, we have a short can version. And then we have a big 8-inch version that works really well for tall ceilings. So if you're saying 12 to 20 foot deck, it's a little more narrow in the dispersion at 70 degrees. That way, when the energy actually reaches the person, maybe 15, 20 feet away, you still can get really good articulation. So pendants, many of you have seen that there's a lot more open architecture when it comes to commercial designs out there, like warehouse type look where you've got nothing, no drop ceiling, anything up there. So a great way to get the sound down close to the people. You want to try to localize the sound as much as you can so you can keep the overall volume low so it doesn't excite the room, is to use a pendant speaker. Our competitors have a speaker bit built into a pendant. That works okay. We do it a little bit differently though, in that all of our in-ceiling speakers we have a separate pendant housing that goes over them and turns them into a pendant in black or white. What's nice about that is oftentimes projects it'll be mixed, right? You'll have some that have open architecture, and then you'll have some that the speakers actually go right into the drop ceiling. With ours, you can use the same speaker throughout the entire project and get the same voicing, regardless of in the ceiling or in a pendant, and it works really effectively and easily. Comes with a 9.5 foot aircraft cable. It comes with a fast link or a gripple, which you take around and pull through. And then you can use the actual safety hang that's on the speaker itself for that. So really simple, really easy. And you can actually stock a few less products here by having the pendant fitting different speakers we have in our line. This is an example of what one looks like. This is actually a conference room. So even conference rooms have open architecture. There's obviously the middle are microphones there. That's not us. But on the side there, you can see that there's black pendant speakers there. you'd be hard pressed to talk the interior designer into cutting holes in that beautiful wood that surrounded it there. So this is a great compromise and looks really well, looks really good, really blends into the black up top, and it's very effective for coverage. So on the in-ceiling, that's an overview on the in-ceiling side. And one thing you may get asked of, you know, how do I know what speaker to use in a commercial environment? That's a great question. And that's something we can help you through our Pro System Design desk. If you ever, if you have an integrator comes in, maybe he's dabbling in some light commercial or he's working his way into it. What he can do is, if you're there, you know, at the partner store, Snap partner store, and you're talking to somebody, see if he has the designs. If you forward the designs to us, we'll give him a very nice deliverable that comes in a PDF that shows coverage angle. It'll show SPL delivered to the space. It's done by the Klipsch design engineers. He can actually use that and give it to his customer. So it works really well there from that standpoint. So transferring or kind of pivoting over to the surface mount business we have and speak offerings. We have two different lines. We have a CP, compact performance, and we have a CA, commercial all weather. With the CP, compact performance, we have an 8 ohm version of the speaker, and then we have a 70 volt version of it. The only difference is one has a transformer, one does not. What's really great about this is that tap is on the front, like I mentioned on the end ceiling, which makes it easy to change the tap. But what's cool about it is the wire actually goes through the speaker and terminates on the front of the speaker. Why would you want that? Well, sometimes speakers are big and they're tough to manage, and putting the bracket on can be challenging. So with this, you put it on halfway onto the bracket. The bracket's actually an integral part of the speaker. And then you can change it in 10-degree increments, either horizontally or vertically. It's a 90 by 90 horn, so you can install it either way. And then once you seat it and put the screws in the top and the bottom, then it's not going anywhere. And you put the grill on, and it provides a very clean, nice look and easy to install with that. We have them in black and white. And they also they ship in pairs. If you click to the next slide, Chad, yeah. So the CP6T has got a 5 1/4 inch woofer and a 3/4 inch driver, compression driver. The CP4T has the same size driver, but it has a 3 1/2 inch woofer. Now, I mentioned that our speakers have bypass. All of them do except for one, and it's the CP4T. It actually has a fixed 5 watt transformer. So it can really only be used in a 70 volt application, but it's a great little speaker if you have a little alcove or a hallway, or maybe you're doing a kiosk at a museum, or need to put something in the bathroom at the space challenge, and it fills the room. It's an efficient speaker, and it works really well there for that application. And then we go over the commercial all weather. And on the commercial all weather, we actually, this is for bigger, larger applications. Just to let you know, a few places you may see the speaker out in the wild. Everything from Top Golfs, anybody been to a Top Golf, to Margaritaville resorts, to Hard Rock resorts, all kinds of different challenging environments where maybe you're on close to the ocean. Like Chad mentioned, you know, they have UV protection, ABS they're made out of. They don't, nothing rusts on these things. You know, you got a zinc bracket, you have an aluminum grill, you have a 1 inch titanium compression driver. So you've got that great articulation. And so we have a 5 1/4, a 650, an 800. So those size woofers, same size driver. And then the two smaller ones tap off up to 30 watts. I'm sorry, the smallest one taps to 30 watts, the 650 and 800 up to 60 watts. So that's quite a bit of output with an efficiency of a speaker at about 97 dB. So we're talking a lot of output there. And then the 800 TSW is actually a subwoofer, and it's got 150 hertz crossover on board. All available in black or white. This is an application that one of our integrators did. This is a little racetrack in Indianapolis called the Indy 500, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You may have seen it on TV or may have been there before. But if you notice up top there, this is an area called the Holman Suites. Holman family really bought the Indianapolis Motor Speedway back at the beginning of the last century and took it to a level that nobody thought was even possible. And this suite area has our CA 800T employed in it all the way down, and it sounds just absolutely incredible. And then the CP6T, the speaker I talked about earlier, we have about 300 of those outside in the grandstand in the penthouse. So if you look at the bottom left corner of this picture, you can see the pagoda, and that's about a 8-story building right across from the start finish line, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So when you're sitting up top there, you're up a long way. And the great part about that is we have an incredible amount of coverage there with that speaker.
Thanks, Trevor.
Yep, no problem.
Yeah, the one thing that I always like to mention, and we're starting to wrap up here. We got a couple more slides that we're going to talk about the current promo that we're doing with you guys. But the last thing that I always like to leave off on is, we're always here to help. We're always here for free consultation, for design help, or just for assistance in getting your pro system or custom install system set up and installed. So you can get assistance or consultation at any time through prosystemdesign.klipsch.com, or you can send an email to prosystemdesign@klipsch.com. We always have team members at the ready, like I said, that are there for free consultation, answer any questions that you might have, or say, hey, I've got this design, and what kind of speakers and coverage would I be looking at for this particular installation application. Then Trevor, do you want to talk about the
yeah, absolutely. As Gary mentioned at the beginning of our call today, our training, each of you that are actually in any of the Snap partner stores, hopefully you have your display up and are talking up the Milwaukee program. So far, it's gone incredibly well. I believe I don't have this week's numbers yet. Hopefully you're going to get them very soon. We'll share them with everybody, but I think we had around 70 integrators of your customers that have taken advantage of this Milwaukee promo. So it's a great way to get them into tools they need to do their job every day. They have to buy these tools, and all they have to do is buy Klipsch speakers to do it. Most all the speakers that Chad and I spoke about today, in fact, I think all of them are included in the promo, so they count towards the promo. All landscape, CS, DS, Pro Reference. We even kicked some THX products in there, which we didn't touch on today, and then all the Pro distributed products as well. Again, we'll have a report out. We've already sent a couple out. This is the last week of this month, as we know. So this one the sales, when an integrator purchases $1,200 worth of Klipsch products, qualified products, then they get the free tool. So that report we're sending out is going to kind of show them where they are in reference to that. And maybe if they're a couple $100 away, you can give them a quick call and get them over the finish line there.
We are really excited about that, guys. So got a couple more slides, or just to be more specific, this is partner facing today. So this is all the promo that I mentioned that we wanted to talk about was partner facing. They're seeing my displays in the stores, etc. So Trevor, sorry to be clarifying on that one, but
no problem.
Yeah. So Syed, it's good that you joined too. He's West Coast. I work with him a lot. Elton and Damien. Yeah, guys, we just want to continue to help you, push this product. You're seeing this stuff in my stores. Any questions, anything we can, kind of tailor this thing toward, be great right now. Damien, you mentioned, or I think it was Elton who's in Jamaica. Love to hear about any of your installs, getting product, probably maybe even through my partner source in Florida. Let's talk about that. If you have any questions on that, Damien, I'd like to hear what your expertise is like and how we can help that out. Other than that, we're going to be coming back here in a couple more hours doing another session. I'm going to take this video, cut it up a little bit, and get you guys something competent. You guys can go back and reference what Trevor and Chad were talking about from the exclusive stuff, the particulars on the speaker lines and so forth. So great job, guys. Any other questions that I don't see any right now? I'll let Chad go ahead and wrap that one up. Trevor, we'll be back in a couple of hours. So have at it, guys.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thank you, Damien, for joining us. Really appreciate everyone joining us today. And like I said, so even if a question comes up, past this presentation or anything like that, you can always contact us directly via email. You can contact the Pro System Design email, or you can contact Trevor or myself as well. Trevor.gibson@klipsch.com, Chad.charleston@klipsch.com. We're always here to help. So anything that you guys need or anything, we're here to help you guys. So thank you all for joining, and we'll see you guys here in a couple hours.
Yep, Damien's just saying thanks to us all. All right, guys. Trevor, Chad, hit you on the back end. Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.